Justice is not a straight path. It bends, it breaks, and sometimes it destroys the very people who chase it. Few stories in Bleach embody this truth more painfully than the intertwined lives of Kaname Tosen and Sergeant Kumamura. Two captains, two warriors, two men shaped by the wounds the world refused to heal. Before everything fell apart, they stood side by side, brothers in arms, bound not by blood, but by loneliness, loyalty, and a desperate need to believe that justice still mattered. But justice is a dangerous dream. It can guide you, or it can consume you. Tosen and Komamura are the same coin, forged in suffering, shaped by loss, yet thrown in completely opposite directions by fate. One sought justice so fiercely, he burned everything in his way. The other clung to justice so gently, he sacrificed everything to protect it. This is their tragedy. Long before they wore captain's coats, before their names carried weight, Tosen and Kumamura were simply two wounded souls trying to survive a world that had already judged them. For Kaname, everything began with heartbreak, the brutal, senseless murder of a woman he loved. The justice system he trusted failed her, shielding the killer behind noble privilege. That betrayal shattered something inside him. What began as grief slowly calcified into absolutism. If the world would not deliver justice, then he would remake the world entirely. His ideology became a weapon, sharp, rigid, and unforgiving justice. Justice to him was no longer protection, it was punishment. For Sergeant Kumamura, pain came in a different form. Born into a clan that despised his appearance, he spent years hiding in shame. Exiled by prejudice, he wandered until Yamamoto offered him dignity, the first true kindness he had ever received. From that kindness, his view of justice grew rooted in loyalty, humanity, and compassion. Justice was not a hammer, it was a promise. Both men were broken by the world, both wanted to fix it. But trauma shapes hearts differently. One hardened into steel, the other softened into hope. Before betrayal, before tragedy, Tosen and Komamura shared one of the most quietly powerful friendships in Bleach. They were outsiders who recognized that same loneliness in each other. A fox-masked captain seeking acceptance and a blind warrior seeking meaning. That mutual understanding became the foundation of a deep unspoken brotherhood. Together, they rose through the ranks, earning the respect of their respective divisions while quietly leaning on each other for strength. Kumamura admired Tosen's unwavering sense of honor, believing him to embody the purest form of justice. Tosen in turn saw Kumamura as a rare soul untouched by corruption, someone who proved that kindness could survive even in a world built on hierarchy. But beneath that bond was a difference neither of them fully understood. Tosen sought justice no matter the cost. Kumamura sought justice without losing himself. One believed righteousness required sacrifice, the other believed righteousness required compassion. That subtle, fragile difference, invisible at first, would become the fracture that shattered their brotherhood and set them on opposite sides of history. Tosen's betrayal was not a sudden leap into darkness. It was the final step into a journey shaped by years of unresolved pain. His belief that Soul Society was corrupt hardened into an obsession, and Aizen simply offered a path that validated his anger. To Tosen, following Aizen wasn't treason. It was the only way to destroy a system that had failed the woman he loved. Justice, once a shield, became a blade he aimed at the world. Kumamura's response revealed the true divide between them. He didn't meet Tosen's betrayal with fury, but with heartbreak. He had always believed his friend's ideal came from a noble place, and he refused to accept that the man he admired was gone. His justice had never been about punishment. It was about loyalty and the belief that people could be saved, even from themselves. Their divergence became symbolic. Tosen embodied justice without sight, ideology so rigid it blinds him to humanity. Kumamura embodied justice with heart, compassion guiding strength even when it hurts. This is the moment their paths split forever, one chasing justice through destruction, the other through mercy. Kumamura's downfall is one of the quietest tragedies in Bleach, not born from betrayal, but from a sacrifice so complete that it erases the man himself. After Yamamoto's death, the one figure who gave him dignity and belonging, Komamura is consumed by a grief that turns into resolve. He returns to the clan that once rejected him and accepts the forbidden humanization technique, knowing the price, the surrender of his literal heart. With that sacrifice, he gains a temporary human form and a level of power he has never known. In the battle against Bambiasta, Kumamura finally stands as the warrior he always wished he could be, strong, noble, unrestrained. But when the technique ends, the cost becomes clear. His body transforms into a mindless wolf-like creature, doomed to wander without thought, voice, or identity. The tragedy cuts deep because it inverts Tosen's fall. Tosen lost his heart by abandoning justice. Kumamura lost his to uphold it. One was consumed by vengeance. The other was consumed by loyalty. Kumamura's fate is a reminder that justice guided by compassion can save others, but demand everything from the one who carries it. For Tosen, his downfall is one of the most haunting tragedies. The story of a man who chased justice so fiercely that he lost himself along the way. His belief that Soul Society was corrupt became an obsession, and Aizen turned that obsession into a weapon. What Tosen called justice was, in truth, unresolved grief and vengeance wrapped in noble words. His awakening comes only during his resurrection, when he gains physical sight for the first time. What should have been his moment of triumph instead becomes a moment of unbearable clarity. As he looks upon the world he claimed to protect, the first thing he sees is Kumamura, the friend he abandoned, standing before him with tears in his eyes. In that instant, Tosen understands the truth that he had been blind for years. He had never fought for justice. He had fought for revenge. Hisagi's final strike is not an execution, but a mercy, a painful act of love and responsibility. Tosen dies realizing his ideals were twisted by pain, and the path he chose only isolated him from the people who cared for him most. The tragedy is simple and crushing. He only sees when it's already too late. Tosen and Kumamura are two of Bleach's most beautifully contrasted characters. Men whose lives mirror each other so closely that their eventual divergence feels inevitable. Both were outsiders shaped by deep justice. Both carried wounds the world refused to acknowledge. Both rose to the rank of captain through sheer conviction and the hope that they could change Soul Society for the better. But the paths they chose couldn't have been more different. Kumamura sought justice through loyalty and compassion, believing in the strength of community and the possibility of redemption. His pain crushed him towards kindness. Tosen sought justice through vengeance and absolute ideology, convinced that only destruction could ease corruption. His pain pushed him towards extremity. Same trauma, opposite directions. Together, they reflect one of Bleach's core themes. Justice is not defined by power or ideology, but by the heart behind it. When justice is guided by empathy, it can build hope. When guided by bitterness, it can destroy everything in its path. The two characters are two sides of the same coin, one becoming a warning and the other a sacrifice.